The Real Estate Show with Mateen Nazir. Useful information for buyers, sellers, commercial and residential. Every Wednesday 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Afghan Noble TV.
سلام دوستان عزیز، خوش آمدید میگم. خدا کنه که جور و صحتمند باشین و عید گذشته را براتون تبریک میگم. دوستان محترم، برنامه امروز میخوایم صحبت بکنیم از نگاه مارکتینگ که امی تیم متین با اصطلاح چه قسم با اصطلاح پروسسینگ امی خرید و فروش و امی کار ریل استیت ما به اصطلاح پیش میبریم، یعنی کارش به هر اندازه جنجالدار است و بازم دمی نیم ساعت 20 دقیقه که به اصطلاح با شما دوستان عزیز هستیم میخوایم تشریح کنیم که به اصطلاح خانه که در پیش ما میایه امی پروسسینگ زیره ما امی فروش زیره به اصطلاح چه قسم ما چی میکنیم تکمیل میکنیم براتون. میخوایم که یک دوست بسیار خوبه براتون معرفی کنیم که ما به چندین سالها هستن که کار میکنن. میخوایم اشان صحبت بکنیم این پروسیجر کار از اینا را یک تشریحات که برای ما بتن تا که بخیر شما آگاه باشین از زمینگاه خرید و فروش املاکی ریل استیت. Brother Shahbaz, thank you for taking the time and being here. I'd like to thank you. Although, like I said, just like everybody that works in our team, that we see each other every day in the office, but if you could introduce yourself to our audience, what you do with Team Mateen and how long you've been working together and what's the process of and procedures of real estate marketing.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Mateen. Appreciate it.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Like you said, we've been working together for many years now, and every day we see so many changes going on in the real estate market. Whether it's for buyers, whether it's for sellers, for investors, we keep on creating new methodologies and new ways to market the properties in the best manner possible in order to reach a wider audience and the audience that we are trying to cater to. Correct? Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. So Shahbaz, I know a lot of sometimes people when we get a listing of a property, they always say, well, Mateen, how much do you guys charge and what you do for me?
Yeah.
That's one of the very, very, very basics of what they're saying. But what we like to tell the audience and the people to get the information that although there are, 10, 15 different things when it comes down to listing their homes, but can you categorize, like in a category, can you just basically tell us that in terms of marketing, I know we have one marketing system when it comes to farming.
Yes.
Then we have one marketing system when we're getting a listing.
Yeah.
We have one marketing when we're basically constantly running ads.
Yes.
Right? So you're also a Google certified or a Facebook certified?
Google.
Okay, so
what is Facebook both?
Okay, and what does that mean?
So what that means is that Google gives certain certifications, right?
Yeah.
To different marketers that who know the tool and who know how to work that tool to get the best possible results.
Okay.
Right? And they're also following and adhering to all the policies that have been given by either Facebook Business Manager or either through Google AdWords.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a CRM that we use. And again, so you also specialize in knowing how to use the CRMs
yes.
and your ads as well?
Exactly. Like you said, there are many CRMs that different agents use, right? Some of them namely being KV Core, Follow Boss, Agent Locator. So we try and see that, okay, which one of these CRMs is the best for us based on our use, because it could vary if you're more into pre-con, if you're more into buyers or more into seller leads. So it can also depend on that, number one. Number two, it also depends on the kind of staff and the kind of team that you have, right?
Okay.
Some of these tools may require a little more time, right? A more dedicated time. So you need an account manager to work on it day in, day out.
Okay.
And these CRMs, again, they have to be integrated properly with the Google AdWords campaigns or either through Facebook Business Manager. So just in a nutshell, what happens is that, for example, if there's a listing for which we have created an ad and it's targeting the right audience, right? So we have drip-in campaigns. And what happens to these drip-in campaigns is that we have integrated the CRM with the Google AdWords campaign or with the Facebook Business Manager. So let's say there's a campaign going on Facebook and someone's interested in a certain property that we have listed. They will immediately receive an email and a text message from us through our CRM because both are connected.
Okay, very well said. Now, also in terms of some people, like so many times reach out to us, like this is more especially for our own, some of friends and families. But before I get to the next question, let me just try to explain to our audience what you just said.
Yeah.
And hopefully I'll try to do as good a job as what you just did. دوستان عزیز مثلا قسمی که گفتن مستر شهباز یعنی میگن که خود از اینا به صلاح سرتیفیکت امی گوگل اد و فیسبوک اد دارن یعنی یا اکسپرتی امی به صلاح مارکتینگ هستن به صلاح و میگن که هر امی خود ایجنت هم که هست قسم با قسم یک پروگرام دارن به نام چیز CRM است که امی پروگرام های فالو اپ می کسانی که می مشتری هایشان اینا را کدشان به اصطلاح کاری که میکنن یک پروسسینگ داره یعنی از خود میگن و یک چیز دیگه هم هست یعنی تو میگن به اصطلاح که تو نیست که ما تنها میایم یک ساین در پیشروی خانه به اصطلاح ما میزنیم که میگیم به اصطلاح اینا خانه تان لیست شده یعنی اینا بسیار کارهای دیگر انجام میتن که بیا که ازشان باز پرسان کنیم که کارهای که به اصطلاح امی مارکتینگ دیگه اینا چیش قسم کارا را انجام میتن که یک خانه را یعنی ولیوی قیمتش بالا میبرن قیمت خانه به اصطلاح وادهی که ولیوش بالا میره و یک چیز است از نگاه یعنی شوینگ است یعنی چقدر یک نفره که مارکتینگ سری برای یک خانه که میکنه پیسه‌ای که مصرف میکنه زحمت که در سرش میکشه هر چقدر نفر در سر او خانه که زیاد میه اون موقع خوبتر و بهتر خانه فروخته میشه. So Shahbaz, a question is that so when you do get a listing, for instance, as a marketer, how much time and money and effort you put behind that to basically sell that property in a top dollar and get the most views? Now, some of us, as we know that we have our basically top real estate agents in the GTA. You have a database.
Yes.
And then you have many other platforms to basically hike up the shows market it. Yeah.
Yes.
So can you just walk us briefly into that?
Exactly. So there are many platforms to which we can basically market. There are instant articles. There, again, if you're planning to market this on Google, what happens is that apart from it being present on our website, that particular property that we're selling, it's always going to pop up on top because it's in the form of an ad, right?
Okay.
And then there's more, as much information as possible with all the top of the line photography done, the videos that we make, right? The video tours that you do within that particular property to make sure that whoever is viewing that particular property, they have a complete idea of how many bedrooms, what kind of location, what kind of neighborhood. And again, what we try to do to the best of our ability is to make sure it's the right home for the right person. Again, if you're a person who's not looking for a 6-bedroom home, right, and you're looking for a 3-bedroom, it will be my mistake to basically project that ad to you, right? So we don't just mass market it as such. There again, when it comes to budget, there's different kind of budgets that we allocate to every particular listing. It could be as up as $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $5,000. Again, so on and so forth. A lot of effort and energy goes into it, but before that, there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So
very well. I know sometimes you give us a lot of big bills, but so now I know where they all go into. So دوستان قسمی که شهباز جان میگن که یا نه بس خانه هر کس دوستانه که به صلاح ما که میگیریم مثلا فعلا نام خدا دمی ماه قبلا یک 15 تا ترانزکشن ما که تکمیل کردیم نسبت از اینا لیستینگ بودن. لیستینگ ها را به اصطلاح میگن واده که ما میگیریم این نیست که ما مردم های غلط هم دیجه بریم یعنی نظر به خود خواهشات امو مردمایی که خانه 3 اتاقه را که اگه میخواین یا 4 اتاقه را اونما رو زیادتر ما تارگت میکنیم. از نگاه SEO میگن، از نگاه خود فیسبوک است یا از نگاه ایجنت هایی که در بیس ما می باشه و می کلاینت های سابق هم که است. Now also Shahbaz, how many real estate agents that we have in our database, so before when we get a listing that you send this off to them?
Yes, so it's more than 4,000 agents that we have,
Okay.
right?
And these are all basically top producers in
Top
the GTA
producers
area.
in the GTA area.
Okay.
Exactly, and we send this to them.
Okay.
So again, even when it comes to, let's say, sending emails, so we use certain CRMs,
Okay.
and we make sure that if there is a certain if there's a certain listing,
Okay.
that we're sending out to buyers, it's going to be different. It's going to be a different funnel for that. If we're sending that out to different real estate agents, it's a different funnel for that. So we have categorized and tagged each one differently.
Okay, perfect. Hold that thought back. So let's just go to a break. دوستان عزیز میبخشین با یک وقفه کوتاه بخیر پس برمیگردیم.
The Real Estate Show with Mateen Nazir. Useful information for buyers, sellers, commercial, and residential. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Afghan Noble TV.
صدرالدین جان پریشان مولا میشین.
مصطفی جان نمیدونم از طریق کدام ایجنت خانه خود را به فروش بگذارم.
ای کاش مرا وقت میگفتین. دوستم متین نظیر که بیشتر از 10 سال میشه در قسمت خرید فروش منازل و اماکن تجارتی از تجربه خاص برخوردار است.
راستی؟
بله.
چقدر خوب میشه فردا پیش بریم مصطفی جان.
اگر می‌خواهید خانه و یا جایدادتان را در ظرف 30 روز با اطمینان خاطر به فروش برسانید و یا قصد خرید مکان جدید را با در نظر داشتن تصمیم مارگیج با نرخ مناسب دارید، با تیم تخصصی متین نظیر از کمپانی معتبر ریمکس با تماس شوید.
تشکری زیاد میکنم از متین نظیر و تیمشان که در حدود 30 روز خانه قبلی مرا به فروش رساند و این خانه قشنگ و نازنین را با همکاری صدف جان با نرخ مناسب برای من خریداری کرد.
416 845 18.
خب دوستان عزیز بازم شما را خوش آمدید میگیم. بیاین که باز یک بار دیگه پیش از که شهباز جانم بخیر پس برن در طرف دفتر یک چند سوال دیگه ازشان داریم. So Shahbaz, if you could kindly repeat back what you said in terms of the database.
Exactly.
Okay, can you explain that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So our database is as such that we collect forms, right, from different buyers, from different sellers. So we ask them like more questions based on, we call it pre-qualification, right? So pre-qualification questions are based on, let's say, how many bedrooms they require, what kind of neighborhood they're more interested in, and even in terms of their mortgage, and there are a lot of questions, right? So what do I do with all that data? So in our database, we have more than 4,000 real estate agents. We have more than 10,000 buyers.
Okay.
We have, so what happens is that for all of these 10,000 buyers, we're not going to send the same kind of ad to them or same kind of listing.
Okay.
That also depends on what are their priorities. And
So you categorize them in a different
Exactly.
formats of what they're basically looking for.
Yes.
Condos, detached,
Yes.
cottages, right?
Yes.
Or a townhouse or whatever their qualifications or preferences is basically is what they're looking for.
Absolutely. There are a lot of people, to be more specific, there are a lot of people who are just interested in, like, let's say, in a townhome, or let's say, if they're a first-time home buyer, their thinking is different, and there are different kind of homes that they'll be interested in.
Yeah.
Maybe they're looking for a condo, and if they're looking for a condo, right, we'll show them ads, and we'll send out an email with condos. So they have an idea. So if there's someone who just lists with us, it's not necessary that they're gonna buy with us immediately. So we nurture them and we give them as much information as possible to facilitate basically.
Okay, perfect. You got to slow down for me a little bit, Shahbaz,
Sorry.
because it's okay, not a problem. There's so much to listen to and translate in the same time.
Yeah.
So دوستان عزیز مثل که شهباز جان میگن که یعنی امی پروسسینگ مارکتینگ هم میگه تقریبا ما یک لیستینگ هم که میگیریم در پیش خود تقریبا نام خدا یک 4,000 ریل استیت ایجنت ها می باشه یا 10,000 دیگه بایرای کوالیفیکیشن ها و اینا داریم که در پیش ما هستن که به اینا تزویه میشه. باز از او می فلایر است و ویدیوز یعنی میگه پروسسینگ کارش به حد اندازه یعنی به اصطلاح میگن زیاد است. و یک چیز دگام است که یعنی میگه نظر به خود هر خانه یک مارکتینگ خاص دارن. یگان دوستا دائم ما را پرسان میکنن میگه منتجان نام خدا کار شما قدر آسان است که یک لوره در پیشی خانه میزنین نام خدا اینقدر پیسه میگیرین. ما گفتم والا خدا پاک امو گپتان زبانتان نیک کنه مگم متاسفانه او قدر آسان نیست. اگه تو میبود یک تنها کار ریل استیت در دنیا میبود. مگم بازم یعنی از نگاه کار ما کس خدا را شکر که یک تیم مجهز هستیم که نتوانه به صلاح خرید فروش هم میکنیم و مهمترین چیز فوکس ما برای یک زندگی خصوصا نمی دوستا و مردم ها است که چه قسم بخیر اینا باید از آرام باشن و چه قسم یک از نگاه زندگی خودشان که به صلاح خانه را میخرن و از نگاه اینوستمنتشان که بخیر دمو جای خود برسن. و از نمو خاطر ما به صلاح تا که کوشش خودم میکنیم یک تیم بخیر جور کردیم که هر کس به صلاح نمو پوزیشن خود به صلاح از اکسپرتی خود به اصطلاح چیز هستن اکسپرت هستن پوزیشن خود میبخشن. خب دوستان دیگه اونقدر وقت زیاد نداریم یعنی وقت بسیار کم است. بازم در طول هر نیم ساعته که برنامه را ما که شما داریم اما انفورمیشن ها را تا که میتونیم برای شما میخوایم برسانیم دیگه. Dear Shahbaz, thank you again for being here. Is there any last things that you'd like to add before we end the program, or anything you'd like to say?
Well, all that I'd like to say is that if anyone was planning to sell their home with us, right, that it's a complete process, and we can walk them through the process. Again, it might be that things that I just said might be a little too technical in nature, but we can walk them through the process of how many people are we going to target in terms of communicating the message.
Very well said. And hopefully for the next season, that this season is basically, this is our last program, that God willing, inshallah, we're going to come up with the better programs, better tools, better information, till the audience could take this and be useful for them so they could take advantage of all of the all these good informations. Okay, دوستان عزیز در هر جایی که هستین در مثلا در داخل کانادا یا در بیرون کانادا به خداوند پاک میسپاریم شما را. در این برنامه امی سیزن که ما هم کوشش خود کردیم که با آرامی و آسانی هم انفورمیشن ها را برای شما چی کنیم به اصطلاح تزویه کنیم. میگن دیگه تا بخیر برنامه سیزن آینده شما را به خداوند پاک میسپاریم و کوشش خود بازم بهتر میکنیم، خوبتر میکنیم و از نگاه همه انفورمیشن ها که به خیر خوبی که برای شما هم یک چیز شوه و از ما هم کار ماست. الحمدلله دیگه تا هفته بعدی آینده و سیزن با سال بخیر به خداوند پاک شما را میسپاریم. تشکر یک جان از وقت دیدارتان. خداحافظ.
The Real Estate Show with Mateen Nazir. Useful information for buyers, sellers, commercial and residential. Every Wednesday 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Afghan Noble TV.